How are you guys doing? Today is Sunday, June 27th, 2021. I'm James Sims, and for this episode of The Elite, I'm going to review the Elite matchups and performances from yesterday, Saturday, June 26th. And of course, I'm going to preview everything that's going on today as we navigate through the world of sports one day at a time. To start, going to the Staples Center. There was only one playoff basketball game yesterday. It was Game 4 of the Western Conference Finals, and in this matchup, the 4th seed Los Angeles Clippers would host the 2nd seed Phoenix Suns in Chris Paul's return to the court after being suspended for the first 3 games due to testing positive for COVID. And in this matchup, the 2nd seed Suns would beat the Clippers 84-80. The big difference would be the first quarter would be the first half for the Suns, as the Suns outscored the Clippers by 9 in the first quarter and 5 in the second, outscoring them by 15 in the first half to go on to pick up the Game 4 win. For the 4th seed Los Angeles Clippers, their leading scorer was their elite starting shooting guard, Paul George. He finished with 23 points, 16 rebounds, and 6 assists, and he would foul out in 42 minutes as he shot 5 for 20 from the field, 1 for 9 from 3, and 12 for 18 from the foul line. Alongside him in the starting lineup, their starting point guard, Reggie Jackson, would finish with 20 points and 5 rebounds in 40 minutes as he shot 8 for 24 from the field and a perfect 2 for 2 from the foul line. For the 2nd seed Phoenix Suns, their leading scorer was their elite starting shooting guard, Devin Booker. He finished with 25 points alongside 2 rebounds and 2 steals as he would turn the ball over 5 times and foul out in 38 minutes. The elite shooting guard from Kentucky would shoot 8 for 22 from the field and 9 for 11 from the foul line on the day. Their elite starting point guard, Chris Paul, in his first game back, would finish with 18 points, 4 rebounds, and 7 assists in 38 minutes. He shot 6 for 22 from the field and 6 for 7 from the foul line. With this win, the 2nd seed Phoenix Suns have now taken a 3-1 series lead in the Western Conference, as they are now 1 win away from the NBA Finals. And the 4 seed Los Angeles Clippers, like I said, they have now lost one of their 2 games at home. And Game 5 will be played tomorrow on ESPN in Phoenix, as Phoenix has a chance to send their team to the NBA Finals in front of their home fans. So that's what's going on with that series. Looking on to what's going on today is going to be a glance at the other conference final matchup in the East, as it will be Game 3, as the 5th seed Atlanta Hawks are going to host the 3rd seed Milwaukee Bucks on TNT. The Hawks are able to pick 1 game up in Milwaukee, which gives them the advantage as they play their next 2 games at home. But of course, many eyes are going to be on this after the Bucks were able to shellac the Atlanta Hawks in Game 2. So right now, that is what playoff basketball is looking like. There was no playoff hockey yesterday, as of course the Stanley Cup semifinal has officially been concluded, and the Stanley Cup final doesn't pick up till tomorrow. But looking forward to what's going on the baseball diamond out of the games that finished. There was a doubleheader in Detroit. In the first matchup, the Tigers would beat the Astros 3-6, as they would break the 1-1 tie in the 5th inning off of a Zach Short home run, his first of the season. For the Houston Astros in Game 1, the start and the loss would go to Framber Valdez. Valdez would allow 3 earned runs in 6 innings pitched as he struck out 6. With this loss, Valdez is 4-1 on the season. In their batting lineup, their first baseman, Yuli Gurriel, will go 2 for 3 with a run, as he was the only Astros player with more than 1 hit in this game. For the Detroit Tigers, the start and the win would go to Casey Mize. He would allow 1 earned run in 6 innings pitched as he struck out 5. The save would go to Jose Cisnero. Cisnero would allow no earned runs in 1 inning pitched as he struck out 2. That would be his 3rd save of the year. In their batting lineup, their future Hall of Fame designated hitter, Miguel Cabrera, will go 2 for 3. And then their shortstop, Zach Short, will go 2 for 2 with 2 RBIs and a run. Zach Short hit his first double of his of the season, and he would hit his first home run of the season. With this win, the Detroit Tigers carried this momentum into Game 2, but Game 2, the Houston Astros would even up the doubleheader as the Astros would beat the Tigers 3-2. As the Astros came into the sixth inning, trailing 2-0, they would tie the game off of a Yordan Alvarez 2-run home run, and then they would take the lead off of a Carlos Correa solo. For the Detroit Tigers in Game 2, the start would go to Willie Peralta. Willie Peralta would allow no earned runs in 2.2 innings pitched as he was unable to strike out a batter. The loss would go to the Tigers' second relief pitcher, Michael Fulmer. Fulmer allowed 3 earned runs in 1 inning pitched, and with this loss, he blew his second save of the year. He's now 4-4 as a relief pitcher. In their batting lineup, their first baseman, Jonathan Schoop, would go 2-for-3 with an RBI and a run. And then their right fielder, the only other player with more than 1 hit was Nomar Mazara. He would go 2-for-3 with an RBI. For the Houston Astros in Game 2, the start and the win would go to Lance McCullers. He allowed 2 earned runs in 5.1 innings pitched as he struck out 7. The save would go to Ryan Presley as he allowed no earned runs in 1 inning pitch as he struck out 3. He picked up his 12th save of the season. In their batting lineup, nobody on the Astros would have more than 1 hit. Their shortstop, Carlos Correa, would go 1-for-3 with an RBI and a run as he hit his 15th home run of the season yesterday. With this split series, the Houston Astros are now 48-29. That is the best record in the American League West, and they currently hold the best record in the American League. They have now won 9 of their last 10, as the only game in the last 10 that they've lost was the first of the doubleheader yesterday. They currently sit 3 games ahead of the Oakland Athletics currently in the division, to give a sense of where the Houston Astros are. With this win and loss in the doubleheader, the Detroit Tigers are now 33-44. That is the 4th best record in the American League Central, as they now trail the Chicago White Sox by 12 games in the division. They have now lost 5 of their last 10 games, to give a sense of where the Tigers are. Jumping out to St. Louis, the St. Louis Cardinals hosted the Pittsburgh Pirates, and the Cardinals were able to pull up a 3-1 win at home as they scored 2 of their 3 in the first 2 innings. For the Pittsburgh Pirates, the start and the loss will go to JT Brubaker as he allowed all 3 of the runs in 6 innings pitched as he struck out 3 on the day. With this loss, Brubaker is 4-7 in their batting lineup. Their first baseman, Colin Moran, would go 2-for-4, and the only other player on the team with more than 1 hit was their shortstop, Eric Gonzalez. He would go 2-for-4 on the day. For the St. Louis Cardinals, the start and the win will go to Adam Wainwright, who allowed 1 earned run in 6 innings pitched as he struck out 8. With this win, Wainwright is 6-5 on the season. And then also in their bullpen, Alex Reyes would pick up the save as he allowed no earned runs in 1 inning pitch. This would be his 18th save of the year. In their batting lineup, their elite first baseman, Paul Goldschmidt, would go 2-for-3 with an RBI and a run as he hit his 11th home run of the season. Their future Hall of Fame catcher, Yadier Molina, would be the only other Cardinals player with more than 1 hit. He went 2-for-3 with an RBI. With this win, the St. Louis Cardinals are now 37-40. That is the 4th best record in the National League Central, as they've only won 3 of their last 10 games. They now trail the Milwaukee Brewers by 7 games in the division. And with this loss, the Pittsburgh Pirates are now 28-47. That is currently the worst record in the National League Central, as they now currently sit 15 games behind the Milwaukee Brewers in the National League Central, to give a good sense of where they sit at the moment. Jumping out to Buffalo, the Toronto Blue Jays hosted the Baltimore Orioles, and after scoring 4 runs in the 3rd, 5th, and 6th inning, the Blue Jays would pull off a 12-4 win to pick up their 39th of the year. For the Baltimore Orioles, the start and the loss would go to Keegan Akin. Akin would allow 6 earned runs in 4.1 innings pitched as he struck out 3. With his loss, Akin is 0-4 on the season, and in their batting lineup, their left fielder, Austin Hayes, would end up going 2-for-4 with a run. He was the only Orioles player with more than 1 hit. For the Toronto Blue Jays, the start and the win would go to their elite starting pitcher, Hyunjin Ryu. He would allow 4 earned runs in 6.2 innings pitched as he struck out 3. With this win, Ryu is 7-4 on the season. In their batting lineup, their second baseman, Marcus Semien, would go 2-for-5 with 2 runs. Their shortstop, Bo Bichette, would go 3-for-5 with an RBI and 2 runs. Their elite first baseman, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., would go 1 for 3 with 2 RBIs and 3 runs. He also walked twice. He would hit his 26th home run of the season. Their right fielder, Teoscar Hernandez, would go 2 for 5 with 3 RBIs and 2 runs as he hit his 11th home run of the year. Their center fielder, George Springer, would go 2 for 5 with 2 RBIs and a run. Their designated hitter, Randal Grichuk, would go 3 for 4 with 4 RBIs and a run as he hit his 14th home run of the season. And then their third baseman, Santiago Espinal, would end up going 2 for 4 with a run. With this win, the Toronto Blue Jays are now 39-36. That is the 4th best record in the American League East, as they have now won 6 of their last 10 games. They now trailed the Tampa Bay Rays by 6.5 games in the American League in the division, and they now trail the Oakland Athletics by 5 games in the American League wild card, as they trailed the Cleveland Indians and the New York Yankees as well in the wild card race. They're the 3rd team out, to give a sense of where the Blue Jays are. With this loss, the Orioles are now 24-53. That is the worst record in the American League East, and that is the worst record in the American League at the moment. They have now lost 8 of their last 10 games, and they now trail the Tampa Bay Rays by 22.5 games in the division. Jumping out to Dallas, the Texas Rangers hosted the Kansas City Royals, and the Rangers were able to pull off an 8-0 win after scoring 3 runs in the 2nd and 4th innings. For the Kansas City Royals, the start would end up going to their starting pitcher, Kyle Zimmer. Zimmer would allow no earned runs in 1 inning pitched as he struck out 2. The loss would go to their first relief pitcher, Kris Bubic. Bubic would allow 3 earned runs in .2 innings pitched. With this loss, Bubic is 2-3 on the year. In their batting lineup, nobody on the team would finish with more than 1 hit, and that can be attributed to great Rangers pitching, as the Rangers only allowed 3 hits all day yesterday. For the Rangers, the start and the win would go to Kyle Gibson. Gibson allowed no earned runs and only 2 hits in 7 innings pitched as he struck out 10. With this win, Kyle Gibson is 6-0 on the year. In their batting lineup, their center fielder, Adolis Garcia, would go 2 for 3 with an RBI and 2 runs. Their right fielder, Joey Gallo, would go 2 for 3 with 5 RBIs and 2 runs, as both of his hits were home runs. He now is 15 on the year. In their batting lineup, their pinch hitting designated hitter, Andy Ibanez, would end up going 2 for 4. And then their second baseman, Nick Solak, would go 2 for 5. With this win, the Texas Rangers are now 29-48. That is the worst record in the American League West, and that is the 2nd worst record in the American League. The Rangers have now won their last 2 games, and they've won 4 of their last 10. They now trail the Houston Astros by 19 games in the division. And with this loss, the Kansas City Royals are now 33-42. That is the 3rd best record in the American League Central, as they have now lost their last 4 games. They've lost 7 of their last 10, and they now trail the Chicago White Sox by 11 games in the division. Jumping out to Tampa Bay, the Tampa Bay Rays hosted the Los Angeles Angels, and the Rays were able to pull off a 13-3 win after scoring 4 runs in the 4th, after the Angels took a 3-2 lead, and the Rays went on to score 5 runs in the 7th as well. For the Angels, the start and the loss would go to Alex Cobb. Cobb would allow 6 earned runs in 4 innings pitched as he struck out 3. With this loss, Alex Cobb is 5-3 on the season. In their batting lineup, nobody on the team would finish with more than 1 hit, and that can be attributed to great pitching from Tampa Bay. For the Rays, the start and the win would end up being given to Shane McClanahan. McClanahan would allow 3 earned runs in 6 innings pitched as he struck out 7. With this win, McClanahan is 3-2 on the season. In their batting lineup, their elite left fielder, Randy Arozarena, would end up going 3 for 4 with an RBI and 3 runs. Their designated hitter, Austin Meadows, would go 2 for 5 with 2 runs. Their first baseman, Ji-Man Choi, would end up going 4 for 5 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs. Their center fielder, Brett Phillips, would end up going 2 for 4 with 3 RBIs and 2 runs as well. With this win, the Tampa Bay Rays are now 47-31. That is the best record in the American League East, and they are currently holding on to the second seed in the American League. They have now won their last 4 games, and they've won 4 of their last 10. They currently sit half a game ahead of the Boston Red Sox in the division to give a sense of how close that race is. And with this loss, the Los Angeles Angels are now 36-30. That is the 4th best record in the American League West, as they have now lost their last 5 games, and they've lost 7 of their last 10. They now trailed the Houston Astros by 11.5 games in the division to show where they are. Jumping out to New York, the New York Mets hosted the Philadelphia Phillies, and the Mets were able to pull off a 4-3 win after going into the bottom of the 9th, trailing 3-2, and then they would tie it up with a walk forced by Luis Guillorme. And then Michael Conforto's sacrifice fly would bring home the winning run to give the Mets their 40th win of the season. They'd be the first team in the NL East to do so. For the Philadelphia Phillies, the start would go to Zach Eflin. Eflin would allow 1 earned run in 6 innings pitched as he struck out 4. The loss would go to their closer, Hector Neris. Neris would allow 2 runs in .2 innings pitched as he struck out a batter. He would blow his 6th save of the year, and with this loss, he is now 1-5 on the season. In their batting lineup, nobody on the team would finish with more than 1 hit. That would be attributed to great pitching from New York. For the Mets, the start will go to Jacob deGrom, their elite starting pitcher. He allowed 2 earned runs in 6 innings pitched as he struck out 5. The win would go to the Mets closer, Edwin Diaz. Diaz would allow 1 earned run in 1 inning pitched as he struck out 1. With this win, Edwin Diaz is 2-2 on the season. In their batting lineup, their catcher, James McCann, would go 2 for 4. And the only other player for the Mets that would finish with more than 1 hit would be their pinch hitting center fielder, Kevin Pillar. He went 2 for 2 with an RBI and a run as he hit his 7th home run of the season. With this win, the New York Mets are now 40-32. That is the best record in the National League East, as they are currently holding on to the 3rd seed in the National League. They have now won 5 of their last 10, and they currently sit 5 games ahead of the 2nd place Washington Nationals in the division. With this loss, the Philadelphia Phillies are now 35-39. That is the 4th best record in the National League East, as they have now lost 7 of their last 10 games. Alongside the Atlanta Braves, they now trail the New York Mets by 6 games in the division. Jumping out to Cincinnati, the Cincinnati Reds hosted the Atlanta Braves, and the Reds were able to pull off a 4-1 win at home, scoring 3 of their 4 runs in the first 3 innings. For the Atlanta Braves, the start and the loss went to Ian Anderson. He allowed 3 earned runs in 6 innings pitched as he struck out 9. With this loss, Ian Anderson is 5-4 on the season. In their batting lineup, their left fielder, Guillermo Heredia, will go 2 for 4 with an RBI, and their catcher, William Contreras, will go 2 for 4 on the day as well. For the Cincinnati Reds, the start and the win would go to Luis Castillo. Castillo would allow no earned runs in 7 innings pitched as he struck out 6. With this win, Luis Castillo is 3-10 on the year, and the save would go to Amir Garrett. Amir Garrett would allow no earned runs in 1 inning pitched as he struck out 1. He would pick up his 5th save of the season. In their batting lineup, nobody on the team would finish with more than 1 hit. Their left fielder, Jesse Winker, would end up going 1 for 3 with an RBI and a run, as Winker would hit his 18th home run of the season. With this win, the Cincinnati Reds are now 38-37. That is the 3rd best record in the National League Central, as they have now won 4 of their last 10 games. They now trail the Milwaukee Brewers by 5 games in the division to give a sense of where they are. And with this loss, the Atlanta Braves are now 36-40. That is the 3rd best record in the National League East, as they have now lost 5 of their last 10 games. Alongside the Philadelphia Phillies, the Atlanta Braves now trail the New York Mets by 6 games in the division. But since the Braves won 1 more game and lost 1 more game, their win percentage is just a tick better than the Phillies, even though they're about even in the East playoff chart. Jumping out to Miami, the Miami Marlins hosted the Washington Nationals. The Marlins were able to pull up a 3-2 home win, as 2 of their runs came in the first inning. For the Washington Nationals, the start and the loss will go to Patrick Corbin. Corbin allowed 3 earned runs in 6 innings pitched as he struck out 6. With this loss, Patrick Corbin is 5-6 on the season. In their batting lineup, their catcher, Yan Gomes, was the only player with more than 1 hit as he went 2 for 3 with a run. Their second baseman would also go 2 hits, as Josh Harrison would go 2 for 4 on the day. For the Miami Marlins, the start and the win would be given to Zach Thompson. Zach Thompson allowed 2 earned runs in 6 innings pitched as he struck out 11. With this win, Zach Thompson is 2-2 on the season. The save would go to Yimi Garcia, who would allow no earned runs in 1 inning pitched as he struck out 2. He would pick up his 12th save of the season. In their batting lineup, the only player with more than 1 hit was their third baseman, Jon Berti. He went 2 for 3 with an RBI and a run. Berti would hit his 4th home run of the year yesterday. With this win, the Miami Marlins are now 33-43. That is the worst record in the National League East, and that is the 4th worst record in the National League. They have now won their last 2 games, and they've won 4 of their last 10. They now currently trail the New York Mets by 9 games in the division. And with this loss, the Washington Nationals are now 36-38. That is the second best record in the National League East, as they have now lost their last 2 games. They've lost 3 of their last 10. They now trail the New York Mets by 5 games in the division. And right now, just to give a sense, they sit second in the division right now. Jumping out to Milwaukee, the Milwaukee Brewers hosted the Colorado Rockies, and the Brewers were able to pull off a 10-4 win as they scored 7 of their 10 runs in the 6th and 7th inning after the Rockies scored all of their 4, so they had to come from behind and win this one. For the Rockies, the start would be given to Antonio Senzatella. He would allow 3 runs in 5 innings pitched as he struck out 5. The loss would be given to the Colorado Rockies' second relief pitcher, Carlos Estevez. Estevez would allow 4 earned runs in 0.1 inning pitched. With this loss, he is now 2-1 on the season. In their batting lineup, their center fielder, Jonathan Daza, would go 2 for 3 with an RBI. And then their second baseman, Brendan Rodgers, would go 2 for 3 with an RBI. For the Milwaukee Brewers, the start will be given to Adrian Hauser. He allowed 4 earned runs in 5 innings pitched as he struck out 4. The win would be given to the Brewers' third relief pitcher, Brad Boxberger, as Boxberger allowed no earned runs in 1 inning pitched. He struck out 2. With this win, Brad Boxberger is 3-2 for the Brewers. In their batting lineup, their second baseman, Colton Wong, will go 3 for 4 with a run. Their elite left fielder, Christian Yelich, would go 2 for 5 with 3 RBIs and 2 runs. The former National League MVP would hit his 5th home run of the season yesterday. Their right fielder, Avi Garcia, would end up going 3 for 5 with an RBI and 2 runs as he hit his 14th home run of the season. And then their center fielder, Tyrone Taylor, would end up going 2 for 5 with an RBI. With this win, the Milwaukee Brewers are now 44-33. That is the best record in the National League Central, as they have now won their last 4 games. They've won 6 of their last 10, and they currently sit 2 games ahead of the Chicago Cubs, as at the moment they are holding on to the 2nd seed in the National League. With this loss, the Colorado Rockies are now 31-46. That is the 4th best record in the National League West, and that is the 3rd worst record in the entire National League. They have now lost their last 2 games, and they've lost 5 of their last 10. They now trail the San Francisco Giants by 19.5 games in the division at the moment. Jumping out to Dodger Stadium, the defending World Series champs, Los Angeles Dodgers, hosted the Chicago Cubs. And in a game that would go into the 9th inning tied at 2, Cody Bellinger would win the game for the Los Angeles Dodgers on a walk-off home run for his 2nd of the season. For the Chicago Cubs, the start would be given to Alec Mills. Alec Mills would allow 2 earned runs in 4 innings pitched as he struck out 2. The loss would go to the Cubs closer, Keegan Thompson. Keegan Thompson would allow 1 earned run in 0.2 innings pitched. With this loss, Keegan Thompson is 3-2 on the season. In their batting lineup, their right fielder, Jason Hayward, would go 3 for 4 with a run. He would be the only player for the Cubs with more than 1 hit. For the Los Angeles Dodgers, the start would be given to Julio Urias. Urias would allow 2 earned runs in 5.1 innings pitched as he struck out 12. The win would be given to the Dodgers closer for the night, David Price. Price would allow no earned runs in 0.2 innings pitched. With this win, David Price is 3-0 on the season. In their batting lineup, their third baseman, Justin Turner, would go 2 for 4 with an RBI. Their center fielder, Chris Taylor, would go 2 for 4. And then their elite pinch hitting center fielder, former National League MVP Cody Bellinger, would go 1 for 2 with an RBI and a run, as he would hit his 2nd home run of the season for a walk-off solo home run to give the Dodgers their 46th win of the season. With this win, they are now 46-31. That is the second best record in the National League West, as they have now won their last 2 games, and they've won 5 of their last 10. They now trail the San Francisco Giants by 4.5 games in the division, and they now hold the top National League wildcard spot as they sit a game ahead of the second-place San Diego Padres. Speaking of before I get to the Padres, with this loss, the Chicago Cubs are now 42-35. That is the second best record in the National League Central. They have now lost their last 2 games, and the Cubs have lost 6 of their last 10. They now trail the Milwaukee Brewers by 2 games in the division, and they trailed the San Diego Padres for the second National League wildcard spot by 3 games to give a sense of where the Cubs sit. And then now, following that, jumping out to Boston, the Boston Red Sox hosted the New York Yankees, and the Red Sox were able to pull off a 4-2 home win as 3 of their runs came in the first 3 innings. For the Yankees, the start and the loss will be given to Jordan Montgomery. He allowed 3 earned runs in 6 innings pitched as he struck out 5. With this loss, Jordan Montgomery is 3-2 on the season. In their batting lineup, their elite second baseman DJ LeMahieu would go 4 for 5 with 2 RBIs and a run. LeMahieu would hit his 7th home run of the season. Their elite right fielder, Aaron Judge, would be the only other player for the Yankees with more than 1 hit as he went 2 for 4. For the Boston Red Sox, the start and the win would go to Nate Eovaldi as he allowed 1 earned run in 7.2 innings pitched. He would strike out 6 on the day. With this win, Eovaldi is 8-4 on the season, and the save would go to Adam Ottavino. Ottavino would allow 1 earned run in 1.1 innings pitched as he struck out 1. With this save, he now has 5 on the season. In their batting lineup, their shortstop, Xander Bogaerts, would go 3 for 3 with an RBI and 2 runs. Their right fielder, Hunter Renfroe, would be the only other player with more than 1 hit, as he also had 3 hits. He went 3 for 4 with an RBI. With this win, the Boston Red Sox are now 46-31. That is the second best record in the American League East, as the Red Sox have won their last 2 games and they've won 6 of their last 10. They now trail the Tampa Bay Rays by half a game for the American League East crown, and they are currently holding on to the top spot in the American League wild card as they sit 1 game ahead of the second place Oakland Athletics, and they sit 2 games ahead of the Cleveland Indians, who are the first. Or they sit 3 games ahead of the Cleveland Indians, who are the team that are the first team on the outside of the American League wildcard looking in. With this loss, the New York Yankees are now 40-36. That is the 3rd best record in the American League East, as they have now lost their last 2 games, and they've lost only 4 of their last 10. They now trail the Tampa Bay Rays by 6 games in the division, and they now trail the Oakland Athletics for the second wild card spot in the American League by 4.5 games to give a sense of where the Yankees are. Jumping out to San Francisco and the Bay, it was a battle of the Bay as the Giants were able to beat the Athletics 6-5 in extra innings as they were trailing 5-4. Steven Duggar would tie it up at 5, and then Kirk Casale's walk-off double would give the San Francisco Giants their 50th win of the season. They'd be the first team in the MLB to do so. For the Oakland Athletics in this matchup, the start would be given to Frankie Montas. Montas allowed 2 earned runs in 5 innings pitched as he struck out 5. The loss would go to the Athletics closer, Bert Smith. Smith would allow 2 runs in 0.1 inning pitched. With this loss, he would blow his first save of the season, and he is now 1-1 as a relief pitcher. In their batting lineup, nobody on the team would finish with more than 1 hit. Their elite third baseman, Matt Chapman, however, would go 1 for 3 with 3 RBIs and a run. Chapman would hit his 10th home run of the season. For the San Francisco Giants, the start would go to Alex Wood as he allowed 2 runs in 5.1 innings pitched as he struck out 8. The win would go to the San Francisco Giants closer, Jake McGee. McGee would allow 1 run in 1 inning pitched, and with this win, he's now 3-2 on the season. In their batting lineup, their first baseman, Lamonte Wade Jr., would go 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs. Wade Jr. would hit his 5th home run of the season. Their second baseman, Donovan Solano, will go 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run as he hit his 3rd home run of the season. And with this win, the San Francisco Giants are 50-26. That is the best record in the entire National League, and that is the best record in the entire major leagues at the moment, as they have right now they have the best win percentage and they have the most wins in baseball at the moment, so they're doing incredibly well. They have now won their last 5 games and they've won 9 of their last 10. They now sit 4.5 games ahead of the second place defending World Series champs Los Angeles Dodgers. And with this loss, The Oakland Athletics are now 46-33. That is the second best record in the American League West, as they have now lost their last 2 games and they've lost 6 of their last 10. They now trail the Houston Astros by 3 games in the division. And they now are holding on to the second American League wildcard spot, as they trailed the Boston Red Sox by 1 game for the top wildcard spot, and they sit 2 games ahead of the Cleveland Indians, who are the first team on the outside looking in for the wildcard perspective. Jumping out to San Diego, last but not least, the Padres hosted the Arizona Diamondbacks, and the Diamondbacks were able to pull off a 10-1 win to pick up their 22nd win of the season to end some of their losing woes, just to pick up a win here and just to pick up a very big win yesterday. For the Padres, the start and the loss will go to Dinelson Lamet. He would allow 4 earned runs in 2.1 innings pitched as he struck out 1. With this loss, Dinelson Lamet is 2-3 on the year. In their batting lineup, nobody on the team would finish with, or the only player, their catcher would finish with more than 1 hit, as Webster Rivas would go 3 for 4 with a run. No other player on the team finished with more than 1 hit. That could be attributed to great pitching from Arizona. For the Arizona Diamondbacks, the start and the win will go to Merrill Kelly, as he allowed no earned runs in 6 innings pitched. He only allowed 5 hits in those 6 innings. He struck out 5, and with this win, Merrill Kelly is 4-7 on the season. In their batting lineup, their shortstop Josh Rojas would end up going 2 for 5 with 2 RBIs. Their pinch hitting right fielder Josh Reddick would end up going 2 for 4 with an RBI and 2 runs. Their second baseman Eduardo Escobar would end up going 4 for 5 with 5 RBIs and a run, as he would hit his 17th home run of the season. Their left fielder David Peralta would go 2 for 5. Their first baseman Christian Walker would go 2 for 4 with an RBI and 2 runs, as he hit his 4th home run of the season. Their right fielder, Pavin Smith, would end up going 2 for 4. And with this win, the Arizona Diamondbacks are now 22-56. That is the worst record in the National League West. That is currently the worst record in the National League as well, to give a sense of where they are. That's the worst record in all of baseball. They've won only 2 of their last 10 games, to give a sense of where they are right there. And they now trail the San Francisco Giants by 29 games in the division. And of course, the Giants have the best record in baseball, so that is the gap in baseball right now. And with this loss, the San Diego Padres are now 46-33. That is the 3rd best record in the National League West, as they have only lost 2 of their last 10 games. They now trail the San Francisco Giants by 5.5 games in the division, and they are now holding on to the second National League wildcard spot, as they trail the defending champs LA Dodgers by 1 game for the first spot, and they sit 3 games ahead of the Chicago Cubs. The Cubs are the first team who are on the outside looking in for the second spot. That is what the MLB is looking like following yesterday's matchups. Looking forward to what's going on today. Starting from the top at 107, Ross Stripling and the Toronto Blue Jays are going to host Jorge Lopez and the Baltimore Orioles. At 110, Tyler Mahle and the Cincinnati Reds are going to host Kyle Muller and the Atlanta Braves. Tyler Mahle is currently 7-2, and he is currently holding a 3.56 ERA at this point in the season. At 110, Ryan Yarbrough and the Tampa Bay Rays are going to host Patrick Sandoval and the Los Angeles Angels. Patrick Sandoval is currently 2-2 with a 3.69 ERA at this point. At the same time, at 110, Tariq Skubal and the Detroit Tigers are going to host Jake Odorizzi and the Houston Astros. At the same time, at 110, Eduardo Rodriguez and the Boston Red Sox are going to host the New York Yankees, who are being led by their elite starting pitcher, Garrett Cole. Garrett Cole is currently 8-3, holding a 2.33 ERA. At the same time, at 110, Marcus Stroman and the New York Mets are going to host Zach Wheeler and the Philadelphia Phillies. Marcus Stroman is currently 6-5, holding a 2.32 ERA. Zach Wheeler is currently 5-4, holding a 2.36 ERA, so this looks to be a battle between aces. At 110 at the same time, Sandy Alcantara and the Miami Marlins are going to host Max Scherzer, the goated starting pitcher for the Washington Nationals. Sandy Alcantara is currently 4-6, holding a 2.93 ERA. Max Scherzer is currently 6-4, holding a 2.19 ERA. At 2:10, the suspended game from yesterday from Chicago will resume, as the Chicago White Sox will host the Seattle Mariners. That game is currently tied at 0, and Game 2 of that matchup will be at 4:40, as Dallas Keuchel will lead the way for the Chicago White Sox. Dallas Keuchel is currently holding a 6-2 record alongside a 3.98 ERA. Staying at the same time, or jumping back out to 2:10, I'm sorry. J.A. Happ and the Minnesota Twins are going to host Sam Hentges and the Cleveland Indians. At the same time, Eric Lauer and the Milwaukee Brewers are going to host Chichi Gonzalez and the Colorado Rockies. At 2:15, Johan Oviedo and the St. Louis Cardinals are going to host Max Kranick and the Pittsburgh Pirates. At 2:35, Jordan Lyles and the Texas Rangers are going to host Brady Singer and the Kansas City Royals. At 4:05, Sammy Long and the San Francisco Giants are going to host Cole Irvin and the Oakland Athletics on ESPN+. Cole Irvin is currently 5-7, holding a 3.98 ERA at this point in the season. At 4:10, the San Diego Padres, led by their elite starting pitcher Yu Darvish, are going to host Zach Gallen and the Arizona Diamondbacks. Yu Darvish is currently 7-2, holding a 2.50 ERA. Zach Gallen is currently 1-3, holding a 3.67 ERA at this point. At 4:40, last but not least, at 7 o'clock, the Los Angeles Dodgers, led by their goated starting pitcher Clayton Kershaw, are going to host Adbert Alzolay and the Chicago Cubs on ESPN. And for the Dodgers, Clayton Kershaw is currently 8-7 on the year. He is holding a 3.43 ERA at this point. Right now, that is what the MLB is looking like as we transition into today's Sunday matchups, as all these series are more than likely going to come to their end. Looking at what was going on in the European Championship in the first game, Wales hosted Denmark this was the very first matchups of the round of 16. Coming into yesterday, 16 teams started off, and like I said, the very first team to get eliminated from the round of 16 was Wales. As Denmark would beat them 4-0. They would score, their first two goals will come from Dolberg. He scored in the 27th minute, in the 48th minute, in the second half. Their third goal will come from Maley in the 88th minute, and they would get a goal from Braithwaite, their striker from Barcelona, in the 94th minute to give them what they need. With this win, they're going to advance to face off against the winner between the Netherlands and Czech Republic, which still has yet to be played. And then, as Denmark became the first team of 8 to punch their ticket into the quarterfinals. And then in the other matchup, Italy hosted Austria, and Italy was able to pull up a 2-1 win, as this matchup would go to extra time 0-0. Austria would get a goal in the second half, but it would eventually get pulled. The first goal will come from Federico Chiesa, Italy's forward from Juventus. Their second goal will come from Pessina, their midfielder. He would score in the 105th minute to help Italy go up 2-0. Austria's Kalajic would score in the 114th minute to bring Austria within 1, but that would be it. With this win, Italy will be the second team to punch their team into the Europa quarterfinals. They're gonna face off between the winner of Belgium and Portugal, as now 14 teams remain in the Euro 2020. And that, of course, leads us into the two matchups today, as by the end of today, the round of 16 will be half over. At 12 o'clock, the Netherlands will face off against the Czech Republic. The Netherlands comes into this matchup after winning Group C, after winning all 3 of their matchups. And the Czech Republic comes into this matchup after finishing 3rd in Group D they finished alongside Croatia, but they finished 3 points behind England. The winner of this matchup will face off against Wales in the quarterfinals, and then at 3 o'clock, it'll be the match on ABC. Belgium will face off against Portugal, as Belgium would make it here after Belgium would win Group B after winning all 3 of their matchups in their table. Portugal would make it here after finishing 3rd in Group F, while finishing with the same amount of points in the table as Germany. So that's about where both these teams stand, and the winner of this matchup will face off against Italy in the quarterfinals. So that's what the Euro 2020 is looking like. And then looking out to what Copa America is looking like at this point, Brazil is going to face off against Ecuador in that matchup, as Brazil is currently sitting at the top of the table. They've won all of their matchups in the table. Ecuador is sitting at the bottom of the qualifying team, so this is a must-win matchup for them. And then at 5 o'clock at the same time, Venezuela is going to face off against Peru. Venezuela is currently sitting at the bottom of the table. They're sitting on the outside off of goal differential, so this is a must-win for them. If they were to beat Peru, they could knock Peru out, and then Peru, same thing for them. Same goes for them. A draw or a win could be enough to get them across. A draw and a win would be enough to get them across to beat Venezuela to advance to the knockout stages. So right now, that is what soccer is looking like, and that's what sports are looking like as of today, Sunday, June 27th in the morning. I'm James Sims, and this is The Elite. I want to thank ESPN, the NBA, NHL, MLB, and soccer websites for, of course, giving me the facts and the figures necessary for this episode. And last but not least, I want to thank everyone for listening to all 39 minutes of this piece. I hope all is well, and once all of today's matchups and matchups and exhibitions are done, I will come back tomorrow, Monday, June 28th, for another episode of The Elite. But until then, I want to thank you all once again for listening to this piece. I hope all is well, and I will catch you with another episode tomorrow. Peace out. And don't forget to be elite. I'm James Sims, and this is The Elite. Peace out.